Nerd Cave Retro fans is just
Yeah,
me.
dude, I
You.
had such a good show the other night. It was awesome. I was
Oh,
gonna,
in Pensacola?
yeah, I was gonna stop by and see if you guys were still at the bar on my way back, but it was like 12:30 on our way back. I was like, I didn't think y'all would still be there.
No, we hung out until like 11 over there, I think.
Okay. Oh man, I'm out of coffee. Some of that, uh, some of that Brez coffee keeping me going through the shows.
Yeah. I opted to take a nap instead of getting that earlier because I was like, I really want the taste of that fucking coffee, but I
Yeah,
don't need to stay up.
that's the
It tastes
thing,
so
man.
good.
It tastes so good. Like I just got that bag last week, and I'm already almost through it. Like I'm down to like scraping the bottom of the bag. Like, ugh.
We sound like cocaine addicts.
I know. All
Scrape the
right.
bottom of the bag, man.
Well, I'm pretty much good to go.
Yep, I should be good. I'm gonna wing it.
All right. Here we go. Three, two, one. Why is the music not playing? Oh, probably because I turned it all the way down. Here we go. Three, two, one. Greetings, programs, and welcome back to another edition of the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins, and joining me this evening are my illustrious co-host Derek Diamond is off doing a game with the Blue Wahoos. So joining me is my co-host over on the Open Micers podcast, Mr. Jacob Craig.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, man. I am the thing that ate Derek Diamond.
Yes. So how does it feel to be on Nerd Cave Retro for the first time? What can you bring to the table as far as retro games are concerned?
Oh, definitely nothing. I'm gonna be the worst co-host so far, but
Fantastic.
I'm very happy to be here though. I know I've been mentioned on the show in passing before, just in conversation. But to everyone, all the listeners that don't know me, I'm Jacob. Nice to meet you.
So tell us what to interview you a little bit. What was your first gaming memory?
Oh man, I know we're talking about your review tonight. I have a lot of memories, like the game you're reviewing, of like my older brother playing old PS2 games and
Mhm.
me just watching him play
It's
old
funny that
PS2
you say
games.
old PS2 games.
Well, they're old for me. Look, they're old for me, man.
Yeah,
Playing PS2 games, is
we
that
have to
better?
mention that Jacob is only 21 years old, so
Correct. And but I do like retro gaming. It just broke the other day, but I had a original Sega Genesis that was like my pride and joy,
oh yeah.
and it just died. It just rest in peace. But yeah, I do like go into playing with arcade cabinets and everything. And I guess PS2 is considered retro now. I'm a pretty avid PS2 gamer.
Yeah. Did you ever get to experience arcades at all, or were they pretty much gone by the time you? Oops, sorry. Professional podcasting here. Did you ever get to experience them at all?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, we have arcades, but it's like bowling alley like arcades, you know?
Yeah.
So there's no real cabinets
Yeah, they're mostly like
anywhere.
those ticket games, like
Yeah.
skee ball, the claw machines, things like that. That's not really an arcade to me.
No, so the only real cabinet the first real cabinet I played was at a skating rink. I was at some birthday party and they had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles um arcade cabinet. I forget which one it was. I think maybe it was 3. Does that sound right?
I'm not sure. I don't even remember how many Ninja Turtles cabinets they made. Because
I
the
don't
only one
know.
I really remember is the original one, the
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles with the 4 players. And that one
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like that was the hotness for a long time. Was that cabinet? Like you couldn't even get
Yeah.
near it No matter what time of the day you went to the arcade, you could not get near that machine.
Absolutely, yeah, and yeah, that was it was like that at the skating rink too. I mean, there were little kids like behind me watching me play
Which
with their
skating rink?
quarters in their hands.
Which skating rink did you go to?
It was Golden Gate Skate in D'Iberville.
Yes, because I used to play Ninja Turtles there too. They had that, and I remember when I went there when I was younger, and Ninja Turtles was a new machine. There used to be a Tron machine right next to it, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Yeah. And I played Tempest there. I had Miss Pac-Man, all that kind of stuff, and then I went back to the skating rink like somewhere around 2012, I think, and hadn't been there since like the early 90s, and went back there in 2012, and that Ninja Turtles machine was still there in the same spot.
I'm sure it's still there today.
It might be. It might be still there. I'm not sure. I haven't been to the skating rink in a decade.
Yeah, me neither. I've it's been an appropriate amount of time since I've been to the skating rink. It's been like 5 or 6 years.
Well, once you reach a certain age, it's kind of like you're the creepy old guy.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to be that creepy old guy at the skating rink. Unless you're like on a date, then it's like a cool thing to do. Like, oh, let's go skating. And, yeah, but I don't.
And also, I can't skate. So
yeah, me either. That's
there.
why I don't want to go, because I'm like an elephant on skates. It just doesn't work.
Right.
Because me and Angelina, we went ice skating last year,
Lord.
And it was awful. Like it was so painful, like trying to ice skate. Like it was bad. It was real bad.
Yeah, I'm a bowling guy. If I'm gonna be experiencing arcades somewhere, I'm pretty good at bowling.
Yeah.
I was almost in a bowling league, and we just didn't put up the money to be in a bowling league.
So usually we talk about what we've been playing throughout the week. Of course, I've been playing. Okay. What I'm going to be reviewing tonight, and still playing a bit of Immortals Phoenix Rising, but we actually had a text conversation last night. I don't know what it is about that game. It's just not capturing my attention like I thought it would, because I love Breath of the Wild, and I'm a Breath of the Wild apologist, because people hate the mechanic of the weapons breaking, which I think is dumb, and Immortals Phoenix Rising kind of fixes that. But I don't know what it is about that game. It's just not capturing my attention, and I feel a lot of it's harder than it needs to be in some of the areas of the game, like some of the boss fights I've come across. Some of the puzzle solving I've had to do, and like if it takes me more than 30 minutes to do one puzzle, and not because I don't know how to do the puzzle, it's the mechanics of the game making it difficult for me to finish the puzzle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
That frustrates me, and that's what's been going on with that game. And I don't know, it's kind of sucking me out of it. Like I'm not immersed like I would like to be.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being a problem. I know I just the other not this week, I think it was last week, I played this game called Black Mirror. No relation to the TV show. It's apparently the Black Mirror series was a collection of 3 games. They were like computer games that you bought on a disc and put into your computer.
Yeah.
Like point and click style games. And they made Black Mirror for the PS4, which is technically the 4th game in the series, which is a continuation of those 3 computer games. And just like the other ones, it's like point and click, but for the PS4. And the puzzles are so stupid. It's one of the worst games I've ever played in my entire life.
Yeah.
Hands down. Because it's like there's no logic behind what to do with anything. Yeah. Like you have to there's one point where you have to send someone down a dumbwaiter to unlock a door. And she's like, I need something to jimmy the door open with. And it mentions is oh, this guy has a key to the door. So I go and try to find that guy. And the whole time I had to look up a walkthrough. There's just a bread knife sitting
Ugh,
on a table.
really?
Yeah, you apparently just have to go grab the bread knife and give it to her while I'm running around this entire mansion trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. It's like stupid stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, as far as like the Zelda games, like especially Breath of the Wild, I felt like, going into the shrines and doing those puzzles, like it wasn't the game mechanics that was making it difficult. And the puzzles aren't that hard in Zelda. They're just, you're kind of like, okay, I see, I got to do this and then do this and do that. And it might take me a couple tries, but you eventually get it. But when I'm sitting there, like in Immortals Phoenix Rising, and I'm trying to move a boulder to a certain spot, and like this boulder just keeps like falling off the edge, and then I gotta fly way back over to this other part to like release another boulder. Like that's just aggravating to me. Like, stop that. Don't do that to me. That it just gets on my nerves.
Yeah, I'm that kind of thing makes me curious as to like what the people that test these video games were hoping for,
Yeah.
you know? Because if it takes like these video game testers 30 minutes to figure out this puzzle, and you're just like, yeah, I'm happy with people being aggravated with this for 30
Yeah.
minutes. Like,
No, that's not
no,
good.
dude, fix your game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what about you? You've been playing anything interesting this week?
So I picked up Shadow of the Tomb Raider for Xbox One, and that's really what I've been playing because I enjoy story-based games
Mhm.
that also involve like a healthy amount of combat. And so the new Tomb Raider series, like the new trilogy, is perfect for
Yeah.
that kind of thing because you get the digestion of the story, and also you get to run through tombs and fight people and all that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's what I've been playing, and for PS4, I've been playing UFC 4 because I'm a mixed martial arts nerd, and I'm always playing the newest UFC game.
Yeah.
I've probably logged a couple thousand hours into that game.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not that into.
I wouldn't doubt it at all. If you told me, yeah, you've spent 2,000 hours playing this game, I'd be like, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of know the feeling. Like back when I used to play World of Warcraft, you could, type into the chat bar like /played, and it would tell you the amount
Yeah,
of time you spent in the game. And one time I did it, and it was like, God, it was like 15 days, like so many hours. It's
yeah. No,
like,
oh wow.
yeah, I think I need to stop this game.
Yeah. I don't know if the PlayStation has a feature like that. If it does, I need to look at how much time I've actually played that game.
I'm sure it does. Maybe something within the game itself will tell you how many hours you've played.
I doubt that. It's they make the UFC games not for video game aficionados, but for mixed martial arts aficionados. So
Yeah.
there's probably not a lot of features like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to know. I know I put a lot of the games I think I've put the most hours into. Of course, World of Warcraft is something I'll never go past that on anything ever. Like that's just so far ahead of like on hours played. I think maybe a close second to that is probably Diablo 3. And
Yeah.
then maybe I'd say I probably put well over 100, say 20, 130 hours probably into Mass Effect 2 because I
Okay.
went through that game and I went through every single every single planet. I played every single bit of DLC for that game. And then probably behind that's like maybe Breath of the Wild and what was not Oblivion, but oh crap, what was
Skyrim.
yeah, Skyrim after that.
Yes, I've definitely spent a lot of hours on Skyrim. And speaking of PS2 games, there's this dumb PS2 game that I've beat like 20 to 30 times called Jet Li's Rise to Honor.
What?
It's like, yeah, it stars like a Jet Li character. It's like a Jet Li movie, but a video game.
That's weird.
Yeah, so it's like you were playing Jet Li in a Jet Li movie, and I don't know why I'm so obsessed with it, but I love that game so much. I've
That's
beaten it
cool.
so many times.
I've never heard of that ever.
Yeah, it's from an outside perspective, I wouldn't if someone told me they hated that game, I'd be like, yeah, I can see that. But I I don't know what it is. Like that has been one of my favorite games since I was like a teenager the
Maybe
first
you
time I
should
played it.
next time you're on the show, you should review that.
I should review it. I probably I would replay it, but I probably wouldn't even have to because I know like
Yeah.
scene by scene is
Yeah.
just in what do you call it? Embedded into my brain.
Yeah, I have games like that too, like Resident Evil 2. I know that game backwards and forwards. Like there's no corner of that game I have not explored that I don't have mapped out in my head. Like I could probably speed run that game at this point.
I'm sure you could. I could probably speedrun Jet Li's Rise to Honor. I think I tried doing that one time. I don't remember how long it took me, but it was something ridiculous like 35 minutes or
Yeah.
something like that.
Wow.
It was bad. Yeah.
You should do that. Like, get a Twitch channel and start speed running it, and like you might have the world record.
Yeah, for Jet Li's Rise to Honor because
Yeah.
no one else attempted
No
it.
one else will ever do it. You'll be the only world record holder from now till the end of time. Hey, if you're gonna go for a world record, might as well do something nobody else is gonna do. That way,
Yeah, that's true.
you'll be the record holder forever.
That's true.
But I'm ready to go into the news. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
From NintendoLife.com, it's actually weird that this dropped yesterday because I'm going to review Destroy All Humans tonight, and I had no idea that this was coming. Like, I was playing Destroy All Humans on PS Now, the PS2 version, and I was thinking while I was playing, I was like, man, this game is ripe for like a remaster or a remake. And then yesterday, this hits. NintendoLife.com. Destroy All Humans launches today, which was yesterday, on Switch, and Europe gets 2 expensive special editions. It launched yesterday on Switch, bringing the original game in the series to a Nintendo platform for the very first time. A remake of the 2005's Destroy All Humans, which launched on PS2 and Xbox. The game has players terrorizing the people of 1950s Earth in the shoes of evil alien Krypto 137. The new Switch version comes with all available skins that were created for the game as standard, including the Skin Pack DLC. Standard version is available for $40, but Europe has also been treated to not one but 2 special editions. The Krypto 137 edition featuring a Krypto 137 figurine, Krypto backpack, keychain, 6 lithographs, an anti-stress toy, and all in-game Krypto skins, all contained within a premium box, has an SRP of $399.99. I think that's euros, and $349.99 pounds. The DNA Collector's Edition features a Krypto and cow figurine, keychain, 6 lithographs, anti-stress toy, and all in-game Krypto skins for an SRP of $150 and $140, which I honestly wish I could get one of these boxes, especially that first one, because that Krypto figurine is awesome.
Yeah, it looks really cool for sure. My question is, who has what is it, 349 pounds
Yeah.
to spend on Destroy All Humans Deluxe Edition?
I don't know. I mean, that's more than an Xbox Series S. Or yeah.
That's a lot of money. That's
Yeah.
way more money in America dollars than in pounds.
I mean, you got to be like a Destroy All Humans super fan to get something like that. I mean, if it was like this thing, I mean, it's cool, but I wouldn't pay that much for this. I mean, I'd pay $100, $120
Right.
for this special edition, but that's a lot.
Look, maybe even if you asked with that amount of figurines and that amount of like what do you call it? I feel stupid calling it swag.
Yeah.
But with that amount of swag, if you asked $200 for it, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's probably what it's worth.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
the
I could see
conversion
it being that much if that Krypto figurine was like, – 24 inches tall or something like that, like a big
Yeah.
statue. But
Yeah.
I think it's like maybe it looks like it's roughly about probably 7 inches tall, 8 inches tall, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever see myself paying that much for that.
Yeah, me either. It looks cool though. I mean, I really like it, but that's a lot of cash to throw down for that.
Yeah, and no disrespect if you are going to pay for that. I just want to know what you do for work.
Yeah, and if
And
you're
are you
throwing down
hiring?
that amount of cash and you're listening to this show and you're not a Patreon supporter, might I suggest going to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro and throwing us some money every single month.
Yeah, it'll actually go
Is
towards
Superman
something
going to
significant.
appear
Whoa.
in
But,
the Suicide?
Advertisement, go away.
So our next story comes from Patreon supporter Armez Jackson. Thank you so much for sending this to us. Nintendo Switch getting and this is from comicbook.com, by the way. Nintendo Switch getting remaster of 2008 Nintendo DS game. Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Lite are getting a classic 2008 Nintendo DS game, though right now it's not clear when exactly Switch and Switch Lite users can look forward to revisiting the 13-year-old game. In fact, right now there's no word of a Western release, only a Japanese release, which will happen sometime this year. Of course, if it never comes west, Switch and Switch Lite users will need to import the game or create a Japanese Switch account. As for the game itself, it's a remaster of Nights in the Nightmare. The remaster, which is also coming to mobile devices, is being handled by the game's original developer, Sting Entertainment. As you may remember, Nights in the Nightmare is a strategy game meets shoot 'em up meets RPG that debuted back in 2008 via the Nintendo DS. 2 years later, the game came to PSP. While there's no word of this remaster coming west, the original did.
I'll be honest, I've never heard of this game before.
I haven't either, and I am a pretty big fan though of DS games and PSP games and whatnot coming to bigger consoles.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good games for those systems that really need to have updates and brought to the Switch because it's a perfect platform for it. And it's kind of weird that there's no real plans for an American release, only
Right.
a Japanese release. I don't know. That just seems weird to me. I guarantee they're probably going to put this, make an American release for this.
I mean, they would have to, because even if the original only did well in Japan, which is the only reason I could think that they would want to only do a Japanese release, there's still a market for it in America.
Yeah.
Like if no one's heard of this game, they'll still see it and then maybe pick it up.
One of the coolest game titles I've ever heard, Nights in the Nightmare. That's awesome.
That's true. That is very good. If you have the right box art to go with that, you might look at it and just be like, "Oh, I'm getting that game."
Oh yeah. And this next story is something I think me and you both can appreciate because we both
Hell
like
yeah.
food. This also comes from Armez Jackson. This is from PocketLint.com. KFC follows up KFC Console with Hot Winger 64 retro arcade machine. Sadly, it is not available to buy. It is the top prize in creator and community retro game showdowns. It has launched. KFC Gaming has launched its own retro esports tournament where 10,000 pounds and a custom KFC arcade machine are up for grabs. The Hot Winger 64 is a multi-game cabinet with a host of top retro games and 2 sets of controllers for multiplayer. It's a one-off and can only be won in the tournament that kicks off Friday, June 25th, 2021. Let's see. In addition
You need
to
to
the
look
winner,
up who won this console.
yeah, I know. Let's see. There's 16 challengers, a 30,000-pound prize pool, and of course the one Hot Winger 64. I wonder if this one actually. Let's see. Because the console had the little chicken warmer in it.
Yeah.
I wonder if this one has a chicken warmer in it too. Let's see. The Xbox mini fridge is in it. Is that what this is saying?
Still, we do have the confirmed release of the Xbox mini fridge in the meantime to keep us happy. I think that's like a Oh, they're making a
Oh yeah.
joke about the new Xbox console.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if this has a chicken warmer in it, but that would be pretty awesome. Like down near the where the coin slots would be, just the little door you open up and there's like some chicken sizzling in there.
Yeah, yeah. Get that hot wing bucket going on. That's it's unfortunate that this is only available to the people that won that thing. We
Yeah, I
we should
know.
later look up who actually won this and if they actually received this cabinet.
I think the KFC console thing was so weird and out of left field. I think they made a mistake by not actually making one. Like, even if they had partnered
Mm,
up with like Xbox or Sony, like I think that Xbox would be more on board with something like this, but make an actual KFC console with, the guts of an Xbox in it, I
yeah,
think that would have actually sold. Even if they did like a limited run of like, 500 of them, I think they would have actually sold out.
absolutely. I mean, because there's only one of those that you can really. Well, I'm not gonna say there's only one, but of course there's only like one that they actually made. But it's one of those things where it's so stupid
Yeah.
and so limited where you get it and you're like, look at what I have. I have this, and no one else will ever have this.
I mean, that's the ultimate conversation starter. Somebody walks into your house and sees like a console, like a KFC console, and they're like, "What is this?" Like, "Oh yeah, I play my games on here," and you open it up, and there's like chicken in there, like warm.
Yeah.
Want a piece of chicken?
Which I mean, chances are that would like start a house fire or something.
Probably, but still, it would still be awesome to have, though.
Absolutely. So this comes to us from NintendoLife.com. The Mega Drive Mini is getting another accessory which does absolutely nothing. The
Yay!
Mega Drive, yay! The Mega Drive Mini followed in the footsteps of the NES and SNES Classic Editions a while back, and Sega released it alongside Tiny Mega CD and 32X attachments. Purely cosmetic add ons, which didn't actually enhance the functionality of the console, but did look rather cool. If you liked these largely useless pieces of plastic, then you'll be pleased to learn that Sega is releasing another one, and this time it's a tiny version of the power base converter, or Mega Adapter as it was called in Japan, which in its original form allowed you to play Master System games on the original MK1 Mega Drive. The Mega Drive Tower Mini Zero launches in Japan on October 21st alongside a Sega My Card and Gold cartridge. The original Mega CD slash 32X was exclusive to Japan, but US based journalists were sent special units as promotional items. Jason, I don't speak this language. Why is this happening?
Well, because Sega was known as the console with all the add-ons back in the day. Of course, you had Sega CD, the 32X, and what happened was is every time they would release one of these new attachments, it was something else that you had to basically build onto your original
Okay.
Genesis, and it was pretty cool actually. At one point you would your Sega console would be so monstrous with all this stuff on it.
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't mind having a 32X attachment for my Genesis Mini just to like have it on there. But like I said, it serves no purpose, so why would you really do that? It's just purely
Yeah.
cosmetic. For people that had all this stuff back in the day and just want to have it for pure cosmetic purposes.
So back in the day, did these attachments actually do stuff?
Yeah, like the Sega CD was the first big, CD add-on for home consoles because you had personal computers that were doing CD-ROM stuff, but consoles like that was still a long way away until the PS1 came out. But you could still do full motion video. Like you had games like Sewer Shark and
Right.
things like that were on the Sega CD. I mean, they weren't great, but at the time it was like, holy crap, like this is awesome. And then you had the 32X, which, of course, the base Sega Genesis was 16-bit. You get the 32X and add on, and then you're playing 32-bit games at that point. So Sega really was getting a lot of longevity out of the Genesis, because the Genesis came out in '89, and that thing lasted a long time. And then it
Right.
just got to the point of ridiculousness with all the add-ons. It was like, okay, it's time to go on to the Saturn and the other consoles that they put out.
Yeah, I understand the nostalgia, but paying hard-earned money for
Yeah.
a plastic piece that does nothing but, attaches to this thing that already works and does
Yeah.
everything you need it to do,
It's kind
sounds
of
kind of
dumb,
dumb.
but if I run across a 32X attachment for my Sega Genesis for like, $5 or $10, I might get it just for the sheer
Sure.
look of it, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to get one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's just pure cosmetic type thing. People do the same thing in video games for like skins for their characters. Like, why not?
That's true, but I mean that's actually a look in the game. You know what I mean? Like that it kind of does something.
Yeah, well, true, but I
Like
don't know.
I understand
Nostalgia,
nostalgia, but
nostalgia is a powerful drug, and you're still pretty
yeah.
young, so once you hit about 35, I think nostalgia starts to hit you pretty hard about 35. And then
Okay.
you're like, I just want everything from my youth.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah.
Including plastic pieces that don't do anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Who is this from? Did this come from anyone? No, I actually found this. This is our last story. This is from inputmag.com. This tiny device lets you play actual Game Boy cartridges on your PC. Is that a Game Boy Advance cartridge running on your computer? Yes, it is. The GB Operator is a new device that plays Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance cartridges on PC, Mac, and Linux computers. And playing cartridges is just the tip of the iceberg. The folks over at Epilogue, a retro gaming startup that's new on the scene, are behind the $49 GB Operator. Orders are currently open with plans to ship in August. It works by ripping the game files and emulating the game via the operator software. The software uses MGBA as its core emulator, which adds controller and cheat support. Playing your old cartridges is great, but what's better is being able to back up saves on your computer and upload them back onto the cartridge. It's an ingenious solution that protects users, or better yet, when the battery on a cartridge dies. GB Operator can also download the game as a ROM for you to play on other emulation hardware such as a modded PS Classic or Raspberry Pi. It beats illegally downloading ROMs from the website equivalent of a dark alley. It can also tell whether the cartridge is real or fake, something that would have to come in handy when you bought not one but two fake Pokemon games on eBay. So that's actually has become an issue over the past couple of years, is those original Pokemon games for the Game Boy Advance and stuff, because those games had internal clocks on those cartridges that would just keep running, even when the game's not being played. So, after 20 years of that clock running, those batteries are starting to die, and people are losing their game saves. So this actually makes a lot of sense. And I wish that they would do this for not only, old Game Boy Advance games, but go back and be able to do any type of cartridge and be able to like rip the ROM or be able to play it. Like, that just sounds like something that just the market needs, especially the retro gaming market.
Yeah, I see this thing doing really well. I mean, that's $49.
Yeah, that's nothing.
That's a really good price for this, to be able to put it to your computer. Especially if I grew up with Game Boy Advance games. I was a huge Pokemon fan, a huge Game Boy gamer. And like you said, like I remember, being a kid on Christmas, even back then, this was probably like, I don't know, close to longer than 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
I would get a secondhand Game Boy Advance game from GameStop back when they still carried them, and the internal clock would be just completely gone as
Yeah.
soon as I get it on Christmas Day. So I'm weeping as a kid, not being able to play my new game that I was so excited about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely a good way to combat that, and it reminds me of like when you put a VHS tape into one of those VHS and CD decks or whatever DVD decks, and you transfer it over to the DVD.
Yeah.
This is kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah. It's just another version of that. And
Yeah.
excuse me.
But it's so needed. It's definitely a very cool way to preserve these games that are going to probably eventually there's not going to be any more of them that work.
Exactly. And especially for games that weren't that popular that you want to preserve. Like I would love to have an entire folder in a file on my computer of all the game ROMs that I have from the original Nintendo all the way through like the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Like just take all those games, rip all those ROMs off, and keep them in a file forever. Because eventually a lot of those games with those battery backup systems, those batteries are going to give out eventually, and you're not going to be able to. I mean, those games will still be playable, but you're not going to be able to save anything.
Right, absolutely. And with Game Boy games, Pokemon specifically, if you can't save the game, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
You can't even trade Pokemon that you've caught over to a different game that does work.
Yeah.
Because you have to save the game to unlock the trade feature.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where like, yeah, you can try to find a way around it, but if the internal clock's broken, there's not really much you can do.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a professional, replace the battery and everything, which is mostly.
And at that point, you might as well buy a new game.
Yeah, exactly. But it'd be cool to just. I think that's, and like you said, it's not a bad price. $50 for that is not bad at all. I would love, and if this thing does well, I hope they do more. For Nintendo games, Super Nintendo, just anything you can just pop that game cartridge on and just rip that ROM right off of it. And then
right.
You take your cartridge and you just put it away.
And that's going to be great for Twitch streamers as well.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because you can just put that right on your computer, and if sure you can Twitch stream an illegally downloaded ROM, but maybe you would rather be like, hey, I got this legally obtained Game Boy game and put it on my computer, and
and that's the thing. Like when I stream, I of course stream ROMs, but it's all stuff that I own already.
Right.
I don't really ever stream anything that I don't own. Like I just don't feel like. I don't care if you stream from original hardware or if you stream ROMs. Like that's not a point of contention for me, and I don't think it really is among a lot of retro gamers and stuff. But when you're doing any kind of like world record runs and things, I think original hardware is probably always going to be the way that's going to be done. But if you're just streaming games, like, and ROMs don't bother me, but I don't want to stream anything that I don't own, like physically.
Yeah. See, what I was worried about is I'm not too familiar with the Twitch terms of service, so I didn't know that if you said you were streaming a ROM or not, if you would get struck down.
No.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's what I was kind of worried about, because I know that Nintendo specifically is very picky.
They are. Like I got
ROM usage.
I got a copyright strike on my page, on my Twitch page once because I streamed DuckTales for the Nintendo.
I remember you talking about that. Yeah,
like, they took all the audio out of it. I'm like, why? It's like a 30-something-year-old game, but it's Disney.
That was because of Disney music.
Yes,
100%. That's why that was.
And that's so dumb. So dumb. But we're actually going to skip this month of video game history. So I'm going to go into our shout outs for this evening. Our Patreon shout outs are these lovely, lovely patrons that keep the show afloat every single month. And I want to shout out Armez Jackson, Axeblade07, Daniel Salmon, John Jekyll, a.k.a. The Mixmaster, Robin Hood, Han Solo, Carlos Longoria, Staff Sergeant Sketch, Randy Bailey, Tyler Watson, Brandon Rutledge, Donner Party of 5, Donnie Parter of 5, Donner Party of 5, Gus and Penny, Jason May, Matthew Salmon, and of course, Justin Olson. We love every single one of you. And all you new patrons, send us your social media info, either on Twitter, Facebook, email, or on Patreon so we can give you proper social media shout outs. And of course, if you join our Patreon, not only do you get a adless version of the show on the Patreon RSS feed, which you can put right into your podcatcher of choice, but you also get the commentary tracks that we do every single month, and you get those way earlier than everybody else. And this month we did DuckTales Episode 2, a continuation of what we did last month, DuckTales Episode 1. And, of course, we did the Real Ghostbusters, the Halloween. I forgot the name of the episode. It has to do with Halloween and the big pumpkin-headed guy, which is a pretty awesome episode. So go over there, join our Patreon, get that commentary track, and when we do our polls, you get to vote on stuff over there and tell us what you want us to review and watch. So become a Patreon today at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And tonight I am talking about Destroy All Humans is an open-world action-adventure video game franchise that is designed as a parody of Cold War-era alien invasion films. It is available for the PlayStation 2, and it was available for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. And Destroy All Humans 2, available for PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Destroy All Humans Big Willie Unleashed, I never played that one, was available for the Wii. Path of the Furon is available for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and Destroy All Humans and Destroy All Humans 2 were ported to the PlayStation 4 in October of 2016, and both being upscaled to 1080p, and of course Destroy All Humans was added to Xbox backwards compatibility program. And that's where I actually originally played this game, was the original Xbox, and I loved this game back then. I remember I rented it from Blockbuster and played it over the weekend, and as soon as I had to take it back, I think I rented it Friday night, had it till Sunday, went and took it back on Sunday, and then immediately went to Toys R Us to buy a copy of it, and I had it for the original Xbox. This game is so far up my alley as far as like the aesthetic of the game, that whole 50s sci-fi vibe, you know, with the title cards like in between missions and all that kind of stuff. And just the whole point of the game is you are an alien known as Krypto, and you are tasked to gather Furon DNA locked inside human brain stems. And not only that, but you also get to destroy towns and the state fairs and city neighborhoods with and you upgrade as you go along. You actually when you're running around doing your missions, you collect brain stems, of course, out of people, which you use your mind powers to just basically explode people's heads and their brains pop out. You collect the brains, and then you take those brains back to the mothership, and you make upgrades to, of course, your character Krypto. You make your weapons stronger, and you can upgrade your ship, like with the lasers and all the different stuff you can do in the game. And it has sort of those are like the light RPG elements of it, upgrading your character and stuff like that. But it has, a story that you go through different sections, different towns that you have to go and do separate missions for. What was his name? You upgrade your ship in his lab. I think it's called Ortho's Lab. I can't remember his name. But he's kind of like the leader of the Furons, and he sends you down to the planet to run missions. And you when you're done with your mission, and there's a lot of stealth type stuff where you have to you can disguise yourself as a human, but you have to keep you have a meter that runs out, and you have to keep like doing mind stuff with people to refill your meter. And if you turn back, if your meter runs out and you turn back into Krypto in the middle of a crowd, like everybody goes crazy and the cops show up and then the military shows up. So you want to try to stay as stealth as possible when you're running your missions. It's just a really kind of turn your brain off at the door and just kind of play kind of game. There's nothing really, like, there's no puzzle solving. There's no, nothing to really think about while you're playing the game. It's just run these missions, and then you can do side missions after you're done with your mission. And you can do, like I said, you can do side missions and stuff like that to get more DNA, whether it's destroying towns or, timed missions where you gotta, go catch, I don't know, just different stuff you got to do throughout the game to build up more DNA to sell in the shop to upgrade yourself. And I just love this game. I don't know what it is about it. It's still good, and it still holds up. I actually, when I first started playing it, I prepared myself because I was like, there's no way this game's going to look near as good as I remember it. Because that always happens when I go back and play a game from that era, the original Xbox and PlayStation 2. They never look quite as good as I remember them looking, but this game still holds up pretty good in the graphic and sound department. Even the controls are as tight as you would want them to be for this type of game.
That's awesome. Yeah. I know I have a limited experience with this title. I remember very vaguely my older brother playing this when I was a kid, and I wasn't allowed to play it, but I could watch him. I don't know why that makes
there's a lot of humor in the game because you have like an anal probe that you can do on people. You can levitate things, like you can pick up like a cow and just throw it. Like, just awful things that you can do in this game.
Yeah, it sounds right up my alley because I love games where I can, as much as I love story-based games, I love a good story. I also love games on the other end, like a Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Where I could just murder.
Yeah. That's kind of what this is like, but it's not open world. You are definitely on like a linear path through the game. I would love to have a version of this game where it's just complete open world and you can just go down in your spaceship and just cause complete havoc everywhere.
Yeah, that would definitely be a lot of fun. I know I've seen a version of this. I don't know if it's a new one that they just came out with, but there's a Destroy All Humans for PS4.
Yeah, it's the remake, not a remake, but a remaster. And I think the version that just dropped on the Switch is an actual remake and not just a remaster. So I'm very interested to go and play that. I watched the trailer for it last night, and it looks fantastic. Like, this game already, for the PS2 era, already looks good and holds up like crazy. But then you go and watch the trailer for the Switch version, and it's like it's like watching a Pixar movie, and it's like, oh, I want to play that.
Yeah, I definitely see myself picking that up in the future for sure.
Yeah, it's a little expensive for my taste right now. I mean, $40 I think is a lot for a remake. Like, even Resident Evil 2, I think I only paid, it was only what, $30, I think.
When the Resident Evil 2 remake came out, it was the price as a normal game.
Oh, was it?
It was $60, yeah.
I don't remember it being 60.
Because even though it's a remake, it's entirely different.
Yeah.
It's not the same game.
Yeah. So that's why I'm curious about this version of the game coming out on Switch. If it's basically the same game, or if it's just they sort of took the bones of the original game and then just put it into a brand new game engine and then gave it a
Yeah.
whole like a whole new paint job and engine under the hood and just like completely made a whole new game out of it, which I don't mind paying $40 at that point, but I think I am going to wait and see maybe if it goes on sale.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something I want to check out because, and I think this, even the PS2 version, if you have PS Now or if you still even have an original PS2 or a PS3 with backwards compatibility, this is a good game to go pick up. I think this is one of those games that's an absolute must-have if you're a collector of not only the original Xbox but the PS2. Like this game has to be in the collection.
Yeah, I remember it being a very popular game at the time. I remember everyone that I knew playing Destroy All Humans. And I think if I do pick it up, um, yeah, I would like the PS4 version because it's just easier access. But I feel like I do kind of want to find a copy for my PS2 and just experience the original game.
Yeah. Well, if you have PS Now, it's available for free on PS Now. So I would say just go get a month of PS Now and play all the games you want to play for that month.
Yeah,
Because you
right.
can download this straight to your hard drive on the PS4, and it's only like 2 gigs. And I've been playing it like crazy the last couple of days, and I'm having way more fun with it than I thought I would. Like I thought going into it, I was like, it can't be as good as I remember it being. I'm like, I'm gonna get in this game, and it's gonna just be like a game of that era where you like think it's
Mhm.
gonna be better than it is, and you're just like, ugh. Because that the same thing happened like when I downloaded a Star Wars Bounty Hunter because that's on
Yeah.
the PS Now too for the PS2, and I started playing it, and I think I got maybe 20-30 minutes into it, and I was like, this is not as good as I remember it. Like the controls are terrible, the graphics are real muddy and blurry. It's hard to see things. It's hard to know where to go. There's no
Right.
map, and I don't know where to go, what I'm doing. So I just stopped playing it. I was like, and I played the crap out of that game back in the day. So I was totally expecting that with this game. But as soon as I started playing it, I was like, man, this game still looks good. Started playing it, plays like butter. I mean, it's smooth as butter, those controls for this game. And it's just fun. It's just a fun game to pick up and play and run around, popping brains out of people's heads and destroying towns and everything that goes along with this game. And it's just fun. It's just pure video game fun. There's nothing to think about. Just jump in and just destroy all humans.
Yeah, that's always a very good feeling when you play a game, from your childhood or earlier in your life, and then you pick it back up, and it's just how you remember it.
Yeah, it's
It's
so
it's
good.
it hasn't decreased in value at all.
Yeah. And like I said, I really like this game. I think everybody should play it at least. It may not be your cup of tea, but I think everybody should at least give it a try. I mean, there's 100 different ways to play this game, and if you have a Switch, try out the new version, or if you have PlayStation Now, go ahead and play it for free. And it might be a pretty cheap game to just pick up if you have a PlayStation 2, because this wasn't, this isn't a rare game. I mean, this was a huge release in 2005. I mean, they made 4 or 5 sequels for it, and just the PS2 version alone, I mean, I got to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I mean, there's not much I can really say there's bad about it, other than it the graphics are a little dated, but they're not bad. But they're
Right.
better than most of the games of that era. Like it still holds up pretty well.
Yeah, I know a lot of the PS2 era graphics. The shadowing is atrocious.
Yeah,
Like you see, like there's something that you have to grab or something in a corner,
yeah,
and there's a shadow that's covering it up, and you can't. And there's like a path you can't see because the colors are all off.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing about this game is it's the character designs are, because it's set in the 50s, everything is kind of stylized.
Right.
And with with your main character and the aliens and the spaceship and all that stuff is very stylized, so I think it holds up a lot longer than if you
Mhm.
try to make things look real, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you can definitely get a lot more longevity out of a certain type of animation
Yeah.
than if you try to make people look how people look.
Yeah.
You're just setting yourself up to fail because we
Yeah.
don't have the technology to do that
Because
ever.
like we thought GoldenEye was like, back in the day, it was like it's
Right,
never gonna get any better. It looks just like Pierce Brosnan, and then you look at
right.
it now, and it's like I got a lot of nostalgia for that game, but that is an ass ugly game. Like that
Yeah,
era, that PS1, Nintendo 64,
so polygonal.
yeah, early PS2 era, early Xbox era. Halo still looks good. A lot of those games do look good, but there's a lot of games from that era that just look like garbage.
Yeah, and think about now, like The Last of Us 2 just came out. Graphics are amazing. We're like, oh, this looks just like
Yeah,
people. 10 years from now, we're gonna look back at that game and be like, I
yeah.
can't play this. These graphics are horrible.
Exactly. That happens to me with games that came out like 6, 7 years ago, and then you look
Yeah,
and you're playing games and like people like that whole uncanny valley experience like you get when you look at video, like people who aren't quite human, like they're talking but their mouth moves weird, and it's like it
right.
totally pulls me out of like that whole experience. Like it just it's weird.
Absolutely. But of course, if you're playing something that looks like it's maybe from a comic strip or something, or like a cartoon on
Yeah,
TV, that's always going to hold up because that style is always going to kind of exist.
I mean that's exactly why World of Warcraft is still around
Right.
after it's in 2000. It started alpha or the beta in 2004, so that game is almost 20 years old at this point, and it still holds up because they went with the stylized graphics and everything, and like it's gotten better over the years as each time they upgrade it to a new engine. But even from the very beginning, I mean, if you had like, look at the Zelda games, the reason there are Zelda games, like I think Breath of the Wild is going to hold up a lot longer than Twilight Princess, is because it's stylized, and
Right.
you look at Wind Waker. The reason that game has lasted as long as it has and people still love playing that game is because it was stylized, and it holds up way better than trying to make things look real.
Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe a worse example too would be yeah, not probably not as good of an example, but the Lego games.
Yeah.
Is Legos are always going to be Legos.
Oh yeah,
So it's like
you can still go back to the those early Lego games and they still hold up.
right. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that's different is the controls, and of course, you don't have voice actors. So maybe it'll be hard from that standpoint. But as far as like, giving it to your child to play,
Hmm.
it's like, hey, those Legos you like, this is just like Legos. It's always
Yeah.
going to be like that.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I still have some Lego games for the GameCube that still look really
Yeah.
good, and they're just fun. That's another thing about this game is it's one of those games that it still looks good and it's just fun to play, and that's what I need sometimes. Sometimes I don't need deep story and like puzzles to solve and like hardcore bosses to fight. I just want to jump
Right.
in and just destroy shit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably why Grand Theft Auto and
Yeah,
games of that nature have done so well.
exactly. You go through your campaign, and then afterwards, it's like it's just an open world free for all to just do whatever you want.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's gonna bring me to the end of the review. Jacob, thank you so much for filling in tonight for Derek Diamond.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, man. I've listened to every episode of Nerd Cave Retro. I know I give you guys shit, but
No more
Yeah,
than what Wally gives us.
yeah. Well, I really do enjoy the show, and yeah, man, just thank you guys for having me.
Check me and Jacob both out over at the Open Micers podcast. We've had some really great interviews lately that I think you'll really like. We've had
Oh yeah.
Jenny Zagrino. We've had Sean Patton. We had who else have we had?
Just today, just an hour ago, we
Yeah,
interviewed Eric Bergstrom, who
yeah,
is
Eric
a
Bergstrom.
fantastic New York comedian.
Uh,
Should I give your listeners an exclusive, Jason?
sure.
Should I since thank you guys so much for having me. Like since you guys have had to deal with me for a little over an hour. Basically, what we do over at Open Micers is I try to book bigger name comedians that come on our show. People like Sean Patton that have credits from Comedy Central and whatnot. In August, we actually are going to have three big name comedians, one of which, who I think would resonate the most with the fans of this show, is Ryan Niemiller, who is he was on America's Got Talent, huge pro wrestling fan, huge gaming nerd. Ryan Niemiller, huge retro gaming guy. If you don't know who that is, you should definitely go check him out. And yeah, he's gonna be on Open Micers. So if you like stand-up comedy, if you like bigger name stand-up comedians, or if you like local creators, like we just had Derek on an interview,
Mm-hmm.
definitely go check out our podcast.
Yeah,
Man.
Derek was on last week's Open Micers, so go check out that conversation we had with Derek. It's at Open Micers on Twitter, Open Micers Podcast on Facebook, Open Micers on Instagram, and if you'd like to go check out the Patreon, it's ompodcast.com. And tell everybody where they can find you on the interwebs.
Oh goodness, you can follow me at Jacob Craig Comedy on everything. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I am on Twitter. Oh, on Twitter, I'm actually at Jacob C. Craig. The C stands for comedy.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, that's going to do it for this week. Let me play our music. If you would like to email us, you can email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdcaveretro. And we have our own website, nerdcaveretro.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at nerdcaveretro. And, of course, individually at jfunktastic, at Derek_Diamond, and at Jacob C. Craig. You can go get some merch at ncrmerch.com. That helps out the show. And, of course, our Patreon helps out the show. Patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. Throw us a couple of bucks a month if you can. And if you can't, please at least go leave us a review wherever fine podcasts are sold. And usually I ask Derek and Wally for a sign-off. Do you have a sign-off to give us, Jacob?
Yo, motherfuckers like soup.
Yeah, soup!
Never rub another man's rhubarb.
Awesome. That was a good show, sir.
Yeah, I didn't think I did too bad.
No,
I
you
could
did
have
great.
done worse.
Thank you guys for watching on Twitch. And I don't know if I'm going to get to stream any this weekend either. Like, my weekends are just screwed for the next month and a half or so. I'm probably not going to have another free weekend until like September.
Yeesh.
So I'll try to stream some games whenever I can. I'd like to do some more Punch-Out if I can. And so you guys just keep an eye out on my Twitter at jfunktastic, and follow me here on Twitch. And if you're watching on YouTube, it's twitch.tv/jfunktastic. Follow me, and you'll get notified when I go live. And Jacob, tell everybody good night.
Good night.
Good night.